Today we're going to talk about
Growing with fishes. Growing with fishes.
Hey, welcome everybody to the Growing with Fishes podcast, episode 366. We have a returning guest with us today. We got Jordan River back again today from Growcast. How's it going,
Hey.
Jordan?
How's it going, everybody? Thanks for having me, Steve.
We had a great time last night over on his show. Actually, I'll let him tell you about it because I don't even know what him and Matt talked about beforehand because I was a little late getting there.
Yeah, for the members, we did a Growcast TV. Thanks for stopping by, Steve. Members love hearing from you. Picking your brain. We have a lot of advanced Growcast members that have been around for a long time. They've heard a lot of the stuff. So when someone like you comes on, when someone like Matt comes on, oftentimes they get fed a piece of knowledge that they haven't heard before. And so that's why it's really cool for you to come on and educate the members like that. But yeah, man, we were talking about everything last night. We were talking about micronutrients, and we were talking about molybdenum and pH. We were talking about growing vegetables. I'm really stoked for a good veggie year, man. I have a lot of kind of goals to finish out by the end of this year. But one of those goals is really, really big veggie run. For me. I mean, for me, right? It's not that big compared to probably people who are listening to this, but bigger veggie run than I've ever done. So yeah, we talked about it all last night, man. Thank you. Oh, were you dabbing? I'll just throw it to you and you're taking a dab.
No. I forgot I've switched some shows I have to use the manual mic and some shows I have to use the
I thought you were
other
coughing.
one, and I've been on like 3 different things this week doing recordings, so I hit the wrong mute button there. Anyways, so Jordan and I have been scheming for a while on a super cool coffee. And that's going to kind of be the basis of the episode today, and some of the stuff that he's done in the coffee nerd world. But I guess why don't you tell everybody about how the coffee came to be?
Dude, Steve, I got to give you props, man. You're right. We have been scheming. We've been scheming behind the scenes for a while now, to be honest. And it's so good to be able to work with you, man. Because we've always done each other's shows and stuff, and that's great. But we're actually doing a project together now, and I couldn't be more excited. I fucking love coffee, man. Can I swear? I'm sorry. I apologize. It slipped out.
No, you can. You're good. We most of our listeners is audio only, so
okay.
Fine. I don't really care if YouTube is getting cranky.
I freaking love coffee, and a lot of people in this audience love coffee. It's so similar to the plant that we all know and love so much, in so many ways. And so I've always had this thing of how can I bridge that gap? For people who have followed me for a while, I do a podcast called Growcast. It's about cultivation, right? It's where me and Steve met. But I also have done coffee content. For years and years, I've done coffee content. Same exact thing. And I've always wondered, how can I bridge that gap? They're 2 popular plant medicines. They're the 2 most popular plant medicines on planet Earth. Kind of hands down. Tea is up there too. But really, cannabis and coffee are the 2 that are the most popular on planet Earth, and they reflect each other and they mirror each other and they complement each other so well. So I've been waiting to bridge this gap for years now, honestly, Steve. And having worked with providers and producers, really good coffee producers, regenerative organic, USDA organic certified, bird friendly, rainforest friendly, the types of farmers that, Steve, you would love to see these farms, man. I had the pleasure to go down there and tour some of them, and we'll get into that today a little bit, but really proud of how the coffee came to be. But then, Steve, to throw it to you, you provided the infusion side. I'm going to be straight up with the audience right now. I've never been a THC beverage guy, ever. Most of the THC beverages I've tried have been garbage, to be honest, and maybe you can speak to why that is. And to be honest, I still don't reach for a seltzer or anything. But this infused coffee product is totally different. I drink it every day. It's so good, it's hard to describe. But Steve, you tell me, you were on the sublingual powder train and the beverage train early on, and I didn't even think it was going to be that big of a thing. Boy, was I wrong.
Yeah, no, I've been working with a bunch of different projects over the years and anyone is ever met me at any of the different events, a lot of times I'll bring a big giant bag of sublingual and dose everybody.
Looks like you
Um,
got friggin' contraband, dude. You like whip
oh
out the
yeah,
giant.
I've had a bunch of fun conversations over the years with different security people, but we always find a way to get it through. But yeah, nano emulsified powders really are the way to go, and there's many different. I mean, from the way I used to, or way I was, started to learn how to do it, to now the formulas changed significantly, and then also because of like some of the ingredients we've had to change over the years because of different when the Ukraine, for instance, when the Ukraine war started, sunflower oil shot up like quadrupled. So
Whoa.
we started to drift away from that. Although we still use that sometimes for stuff that people are sensitive to coconut. Um, but since we do use MCT currently for most of our stuff, but um, just learning about the nano emulsification and how to get into sonication, figure out the right ranges and temperatures and all the different variables that you need to figure out, and then also just playing with different carrier oils, and then also with the different matrices that you have for powder. There's many different types of, you can get like cellulose, you can get maltodextrin, you can get lots of different types of flours and stuff like that, so you can kind of blend them to make the different results, depending on
Wow.
if you want more of a something that someone's going to take orally versus a beverage, and dissolution versus a different application. Like even worked with like lubes and stuff like that, and that's a whole different type of emulsification that you have to do because you don't want that to be
Super
sticky.
absorbent. Yeah, super nano emulsified, huh? Well,
Yeah,
it is the best though, man. I gotta say, I've tried it when I was building this company. I did try all of them, and I wanted to work with you, but I was going to work with the best. Luckily, and not to my surprise at all, because you do know what you're doing, yours was the best, man. Tasteless, absolutely tasteless. So my thought was, what if I can bring the cleanest aspects of these two plant medicines and actually combine them into one product? Regeneratively grown, rainforest friendly Arabica coffee from the mountainsides of Colombia, grown at elevation. True regenerative organic, by the way. They're actually doing it. They're not just getting the certification. I was there. Tested for mycotoxins, tested for mold, mildew, pesticide residue, roasted for low acid, roasted for maximum antioxidants, optimized for health, and then infused with your THC that is absolutely tasteless. The coffee is delicious. It's really nutty. It has like a toasted hazelnut, chocolate, brown sugar, just really savory and deep and rich. Fantastic taste of the coffee. And Steve, I don't taste the MCT at the THC MCT at all. Like if you blindfold taste tested me, I'm not sure I could do it. Maybe some super taster out there could. I can't. Hell no, I can't. It's really good, man. So I love it. It's called, you can let me say the name. You can find it at Farmer Joe's Coffee right now. FarmerJoe'sCoffee.com. That's JOS, no E in Joe. Farmer Joe's Coffee. Sales are not live yet. I just gave you the URL. Sales are not live yet. If you're watching
and
this,
it is a hemp product. It is not a regulated cannabis product, just for the record.
and available in the states that are allowed. All the information is up there, and sales are not live yet. But if you're watching this, Steve will update you. I mean, check back in 7 days, and those will be live. We're just putting together some tech stuff on the back end. Steve, I'm so proud of how it turned out, man. I'm so happy to be working with you, and it's a good experience to consume them together. The thing that surprised me, and I would love to get your opinion on why this would be, the effect of consuming them together in a brew through your digestion is completely different than smoking while drinking a cup of coffee. In fact, I will say it is completely different than any other method of consumption out there. I don't know if it's the caffeine synergy. I don't know what it is. But Steve, this method of consumption is experientially entirely new to me. Do you know why that would be?
Yeah, so coffee has a huge range of different alkaloids and terpenes and terpenoids. So you're definitely getting like an entourage type effect. And there's lots of different plants that this happens with as well. That's not exclusive to coffee specifically, but even some of the mushroom products out there have a synergistic thing because a lot of different mushroom types have triterpenes in them as well. So there's many different things going on. But yeah, specifically some of the terpenes in cannabis can enhance your sorry, the terpenes in the coffee can enhance some of your uptake of your other things. So
That makes sense to me. How I would describe it, Steve, is it's very, very clear-headed. The shift, the mind shift from the THC goes away almost completely. Instead, you're left with this body, super, super euphoric, floaty, light body feeling. And conversely, the THC kind of brings down the anxiety level of the caffeine. It balances you both directions. And it's really, really nice. It also makes me more sensitive to smoking when I tested it alone for a long time, but then also when I smoke with it, it creates this new entourage effect. And man, you're absolutely right. It's got to be those compounds. Like you said, alkaloids, terpenes, like you said, tons of organic acids. Steve, those are like chelators, right? When we talk about organic acids, these are things that are going to like drastically affect the chemistry in this psychoactive is what I'm imagining.
Oh, for sure. And it all just helps you make have a better experience. And the biggest thing with the nano emulsification you have is that it just hits you much faster, right? So it hits you like all at once rather than kind of, over a longer period of time. That's why you can feel those smaller doses because, uh, you have to be in order to be in the hemp bracket.
I think, and we're going to do a lot of more research and development. I'm so jazzed about this product. I'm going to really push the boundaries, and I'm not going to reveal yet what we're thinking behind the scenes and scheming on next. But I will tell you that this product is going to drop in just a couple of days, and you can get it. And Steve has a huge hand in producing it. So happy with how it turned out, man. And I got to call you out again on your show to all your audience. We worked so hard on getting this to market and getting it ready to even test. And so he goes, I got it all packed up. And I go, well, Steve, how does it taste? And he goes, oh, I don't drink coffee. Son of a gun.
I've had it since then. I have had it since then.
I'm super happy. I'm getting rave reviews. And yeah, thank you, Steve. I appreciate you, man. That's all I can say.
And you have the freeze dried instant coffee, which is and then you have the are you mentioning both versions yet or just
100%? Yeah, we'll launch with grounds, which we have right here. So you use it just like your regular ground coffee, and 2 tablespoons is the dosage per cup. So you have a 10 milligram per cup, 5 milligram per cup, a 20 milligram per cup, and then the instant coffee. I went down a huge instant coffee rabbit hole, Steve. It's so fascinating. It's kind of like distillate in the sense that nobody takes their best A quality product and then runs that to distillate, right? And in the coffee world, it's kind of the same way. You don't see a lot of people taking their top quality Arabica beans and then running that to instant. However, unlike distillate, Steve, there's nothing wrong with the instafication process for coffee. There's nothing inherently, like for instance, decaffeination sometimes uses chemicals. You don't want chemically decaffeinated coffee. That's dog crap, and those chemicals are nasty, and you don't want that for your health. There are better ways to do it for decaffeination. But when it comes to instantification, all you do is cold brew the coffee. You make a bunch of cold brew, and then you freeze dry it, and then micronize it. It's just freeze-dried, micronized cold brew. And so I saw that, and I was like, well, damn, why don't we take the best beans? Why don't we take the same exact beans, the ones I was just describing, and make those into instant? Turns out it's the best instant coffee in the world. And I don't think it would be feasible any other way because you have to charge money for those beans. These are expensive beans. But if you infuse it, now we have a single serve, high quality, the best quality, instant coffee, plus 10 milligrams to get you buzzing. And I think it's perfect, Steve. It tastes so good. I just had a cup this morning because it's so convenient and it tastes so good. Tremendous job working with that instant. That stuff is not easy to work with, and Steve was a real pro with it.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique, because it's like it almost has the consistency of like freeze dried like weed resin. It has like a really weird, it's like dry and sticky at the same time, and it took a while to figure out how to get that dialed in. That was a lot of fun.
That's true. And it also tastes good on its own. You can take that and put it right over vanilla ice cream. It's so cool, you guys. You're going to love it.
I was just going to say I put some on ice cream the other day.
Hell yes. I love to hear that, Steve.
I like to do that with the hot chocolate I make too. It's fire. But you actually, so tell them about the coffee side of things, because you actually have a long history with the coffee company and have been
Yeah.
down to their farms in Colombia and stuff and all that.
Absolutely. Well,
I got sharing on twos if you want to throw something up, or I can try to.
oh, I sent you those pictures. I don't have those pictures on hand. I don't know if you want to share any as
Okay.
we talk.
Yeah, no, I
I'm
have it.
sorry.
No, I got it.
Well, my love, and you can bring up the pictures now. This would make sense. But my love for coffee really expanded as I was doing the Coffee Health and Science podcast. Please go check out that show, you guys. If you're into growing with fishes, I know you'd love the Coffee Health and Science podcast. And Steve, you were a guest on that show. You talked about aquaponic
Was
farming.
I?
One time you came on and talked about aquaponic farming. So that's really cool. And so it's a really cool show, and I did it for a long time, and I learned a lot. But where stuff really went crazy is when I went down to Colombia, South America. And I'm pretty well traveled, but I had never been to Colombia. And I had only heard bad things, Steve. You only hear about the cartel and the beheadings, right? That's that's all you hear about outside of Colombia, of course. And then I go down there, and it's just, I fell in love. It's so beautiful. The countryside is absolutely amazing. The people are incredible and so friendly and welcoming. The food is out of control. And so I took a trip down there, and we got to visit these coffee farms, just working for this other coffee company that works with me on the media production side, nothing to do with Farmer Joe's. And basically seeing these coffee farmers in production gave me a whole new respect for farming in general. And it was a little bit, God, what's the word? Not bittersweet, but it was a little bit eye-opening when, we talk about prices dipping below 1,000 or below, in my day, below 2,000, below 500, right? These coffee farmers, there's our coffee farmers right there. Francisco in the front and my man Oscar in the back. And these guys, Steve, they are scraping by. Coffee sells for a few dollars a pound. Okay? And so it was really cool to come down here and work with these farmers because the company that I was working for was paying them a better wage for their organic coffee, Steve. And they were paying them a better wage, and they were charging more at the cup, which customers are willing to pay, by the way, for a better product. You will pay a few extra cents at the cup for a better organic product. Most people will who actually love coffee. And so, yeah, there's our team down there on La Pradera, which was Oscar's farm. He was a third-generation coffee farmer, Steve, but they had just gone regenerative that generation, one generation, Oscar's generation. He had to convince his dad to get off of, quote, traditional farming practices and get on to regenerative agriculture. And it's really fascinating, the story he told me, Steve. I had no idea about the history of this, but apparently a bunch of German banks and investors did a bunch of money in grants to Colombian universities specifically to research and study and enhance organic coffee bean production. They were giving out grants. They were teaching people about regenerative biology. And I guess Oscar took advantage of some of this and learned that from the universities. And he brought that to his dad. And it's such a great story, man. His dad was like skeptical about it and he didn't want to do it. And they finally took the leap. And you know the story when it comes to regenerative. The first year is sometimes not easy. And it was like, what are you doing, son? You know what I mean? Like, look at where we are now. Our yields are down. Second year, they kind of get on their feet. Third year, they're matching things they were doing before, but a drought hits. Horrible drought hits Colombia on their like third year doing this new regenerative style. All of the other non-regenerative farms nearby were just devastated by the drought. Meanwhile, their plants were doing way better, managing the water management, right? With all the mycorrhizal fungi. They had these old school terraces cut, like places for water to pool so that we'll conserve when it does rain. Holy crap, dude. It was amazing. And it completely changed my perspective on farming in general. And it gave me more of a respect for coffee, and it also gave me more of a respect for cannabis in both ways. I actually found a grower when I was there. I wish my Spanish was better because there was a plant growing in the village that I was visiting. And I talked to the person who was growing it, but my Spanish is so bad, Steve, that I couldn't really get anywhere. But that trip changed my life. And now here we are. I mean, really that led to the coffee company starting. So
What were some of the things that like you saw in the coffee fields, or some of the stuff that surprised you as far as the coffee management or the management of the plants, stuff like that?
so to get rainforest friendly certification, you need to basically polycrop in a certain way. So you have to plant X amount of trees, certain types of bird friendly trees and rainforest friendly trees per acre of coffee or whatever, right? So it's to avoid monocropping and to avoid habitat destruction. And so what you see when you're walking through, Steve, is there's not rows of crops. That's what surprised me some of the most is you're going through the freaking jungle in these regenerative farms. It's a permaculture jungle. And they've got banana trees and stuff, and it's not rowed out, and there's just wildlife everywhere. Francisco said, the guy in that picture who was standing in the front, Francisco said that once they started doing the bird-friendly practices, after a few years, they started to see indigenous bird species that hadn't been in the region for like 5 or 10 years before that. And now they're coming back to his farm because he's doing the proper methods and he's inviting this ecosystem back in. That was wild to watch. By the way, if there are any birders in your audience, holy S. You probably already know this if you're a birder. Colombia is the mecca of birding. It is the heaven's gate. Birding there is like everywhere you look. You're just like, whoa, whoa. You hear it all around you. The bird song is wild. So I highly recommend going to Colombia if you're a birder. Going to Colombia no matter what, really. And so, yeah, that was something that was crazy, was the bird-friendly practices and how it was restoring the ecosystem. The water conservation was crazy. They would do a lot of fermentation, Steve. There's a lot of coffee cherry waste. So coffee is a tree, and it grows in kind of a shrubby tree, and it produces cherries, and the seed of the cherry is the bean. But there's also coffee cherry meat. That coffee cherry meat is like kind of acidic, kind of sweet, really hard to describe what it tastes like. And the reason that you don't see it around is because for some reason it doesn't last. Like it's spoils in days, I guess. They don't even can it. They don't ship it out. You don't ever see coffee cherry fruit, right? I guess it's kind of like mulberries. Same reason you don't see mulberries, because I guess they spoil too fast. You got to eat them off the tree. Anyways, they take all of this coffee cherry meat, which I researched, by the way, Steve, is loaded with pectic acid. Pectic acid, which is an organic chelating acid. And they ferment this stuff in a big vat. They had it in this like ceramic vat is the only way I can describe it. And it was just this floating mass. And I believe they were fermenting it, Steve. And they used that same coffee cherry ferment back on the plants every year. And they were composting and they were making compost teas. And they were just doing it right, man. It was really, really cool to see that. And so I want to try, Steve, I want to find a coffee cherry chelator product and use it because I think it would work.
That would be pretty dope, especially if you're doing like teas or something like that.
So that was really cool. The last thing I'll say is another thing that I saw that was super cool that didn't have to do with farming. And the company that I worked for actually invested in this piece of machinery for their farm. So that was really cool. And they bought them an optic sorter. And an optic sorter is where you put these green coffee beans on a conveyor belt, and the camera can as they fall off the end of the conveyor belt, the camera can visually identify imperfect beans, and it poofs a jet of of air, pressurized air, pff, pff, and it knocks that bean out of the waterfall into a different disposal bucket. And watching it happen in real time was like magic. So it was great. I loved it. You would have loved it, Steve.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely I've been to 2 different coffee farms, one in Jamaica and one when I was over in Africa, but I had a chance to like really spend time at them much long term.
Yeah,
Definitely
man.
be cool to learn, because I'm sure they got a lot of them, and like love to learn from them, and then like the guys that grow all the tea bushes and like kind of learn how they manage those, because those do they're a whole other set of compounds and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, no kidding. And the farmers were chill, but I'll tell you, man, those tea guys and those coffee guys too, the real experts, like let's talk about when it comes to the science. Here in our community, in the cannabis community, there's so much argument over the science, right? Like, you get it. The coffee snobs are even worse. bro. The coffee researchers are even worse. Don't you call your type of coffee plant a cultivar? Don't you fucking do it, Steve. Do not use the word cultivar. Don't even use the word varietal, okay? That's for wine growers. Variety.
We call it strains.
We actually call it strands. We call it different strands of coffee. And that joke never gets old to me, man, because people get so bent out of shape. People in the coffee world get so bent out of shape if you don't use the word variety. And I just think it's funny. I think that's so funny to see. And I think it's so funny to see the cannabis people going, oh, if we just had more research. Steve, if we just had more research, we could win X argument or we could settle X debate. And I agree, research is good. Research is a good thing. But the idea that more of it is going to somehow solve things and debates or simplify things is just not true, bro. And I know that because I've worked in coffee. Coffee is the most studied food product on planet Earth, and therefore it's also the most studied drug on planet Earth. Maybe somebody can correct me on that, but I'm just kind of using there are massive, massive meta studies on the effect of coffee on human health. And still, the doctors can't tell you if it's good for you or bad for you. There's a new study every month, one that says good, one that says bad. Here's why caffeine kills you. Here's all the amazing disease prevention things of coffee. So what's the truth, right? I think it points to a reductionist mentality where when you're dealing with complex plant medicines, really complex, holistic, we're not talking about an active ingredient. We're talking about a living organism that is a chemovar that produces all of these magical compounds. It's fucking magic. And you're taking that into a very complex biological being and you're mixing it up in there. And that means it's not simple. And that means there's a lot of nuance to it. But I will say this, I've looked at the research and I've looked at the research with people who are way smarter than me and who can interpret research way better than me. And my co-host Dr. Coffee said it best. He said when coffee is farmed healthily and treated as a medicinal brew, not covered in pesticides, not loaded with mold and mycotoxins and sat on shelves, when it's treated like Mother Nature intended and produced fresh and produced organically, it is a miracle health brew. Reduction in all-cause mortality, increase in longevity, reduction of 12 different types of cancers, neuroprotectant, anti-dementia, anti-Parkinson's, anti-Alzheimer's. The list goes on. But Dr. Coffee says, however, if you grow it in a manner that is not befitting to this holy, sacred plant medicine, is how he puts it, now you have a health negative. Now you're putting pesticides in your coffee that are going to shorten the lifespan. Now you're growing cultivars, varieties that don't even produce the compounds we need, and you're factory farming, and you end up with a health negative. And Steve, I think that cannabis flower is the same way. If you do it right, for a large percentage of people, not for all people, for a large percentage of people, it is a health positive. But if you grow it wrong, you're actually damaging your health. I truly believe that. So.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see how this pans out with all the awesome coffee. I know a bunch of my friends out here are loving it too. So,
Steve, I want to learn. I next, if we can make this thing go, we can make if people care about this product. I don't know if people are going to care about this product, and I have all sorts of plans, whether or not the first iteration is a hit. But I want to say this, Steve, if we can make this thing go, I want to get into the research side. How do these cannabinoids actually synergize with caffeine? Are you aware of any studies?
Well, it's hard. Those are
certainly
hard
not on
things
coffee.
to map out. I'm having a hard time doing the research right now to like have some more clinical research for our antidote product, and not that we don't have to have it in order to bring it to market or anything like that, but we're trying to find someone that we can like pay to like, okay, well, we know that it's doing this and this and it's on this couple of receptors, and we know this because of the research that I've done already and the stuff that we've already done. But trying to find something that, you know, can explain all the different things going on is much harder because there's very few labs that do that, and most of them are like pharma world and don't want to deal with, you know, cannabis anything. So it's it can get quite tricky. But I'm sure there's some papers out there. I haven't done a lot of research on coffee, and I would imagine maybe maybe in the big book of terps or the flavonoid book. I haven't looked through those for coffee specifically. I do remember it being mentioned, I think, once or twice, but
Yeah, I've certainly never seen it studied when ingested together, and I would love to just work with you, get any research I can, because I think I may have stumbled onto something here that's I think it's really special. I hope that other people feel the same way, and man, I have such a passion for these two plant medicines. You know, like they make life worth living. Dr. Coffee has said that too. Like, and I know it sounds crazy, and people can judge, but it's true, man. That cup of coffee in the morning, when you got to drag your ass out of bed and you've been fighting with the lady the night before, and your boss is up your butt, and you pour that cup of coffee and you inhale this pheno cocktail. And just for a split moment, Steve, you forget, and it makes you ready for your day, and it makes life worth living, man. And cannabis is the same way. So, yeah, I'm excited for this project. Cheers, Steve.
yeah. And you've had a lot of great guests on your show lately. Do you want to tell people a little bit about your podcast and some of the great guests you've had the last couple of weeks?
Oh, absolutely, man. Been doing Growcast now for similar to you, Steve. Didn't you just celebrate your 10-year?
Yep, 10 years was yep,
We must have started the same year.
2 weeks ago, something like that.
That's wild, man. And it's been such a wild ride. My favorite recent guest, to answer your questions. There's a 2-part cloning episode on the Growcast YouTube with Mike Chang from Growers House. Mike Chang from Growers House. This dude did such a good breakdown. As far as like doing an interview style and not having a whole presentation, PowerPoint presentation or anything like that, I think it's the best interview breakdown of cloning ever done. Some of the tips just to share with your audience that, Steve, I hadn't considered, and maybe this is like old hat to you, but these were kind of mind-blowing to me. For those who are really struggling with water content in your cloning trays, he recommended using weight as a metric. And so he says you get your plugs soaked to an appropriate moisture, which he described the method on doing, and then get all your stuff plugged in, and then take your whole tray and weigh it. This is extremely useful for beginners, Steve, who struggle with moisture content in plugs. Because then when you're like, okay, is it too wet? Is it too dry? How much water do I have to add back? You can simply weigh it again, and you can see that weight difference in water because nothing else has changed. So that was a really cool one. He turned me on to the squirt bottles of clone gel instead of the scooper thing. So I'm using like a squirt bottle, saves a ton of time. He just gave a really good breakdown and talked about hormones and auxins and cytokinins and all this fun stuff. So go and check that out. Have you had Mike on? I would love to connect you two. You two would be a force to be reckoned with, I feel like.
I don't think I have.
Oh, I got to, because you'd pull some great information out of him, man. He's good at breaking it down simple, especially for like a guy like me. But I know he also goes way deeper. So I'd love to see a guy like you riff with him and pull that out of him, because great episode. Go check out the 2-parter with Mike Chang. And then, yeah, had a great episode with Luna, who you've had on the show as well. That one's great. And the other person I want to shout out is, are you following Yellow Skunk Farms? Do you know this guy?
Yeah, he's been on the show.
Oh, bro. Okay. I mean, come on.
He shouted me out yesterday, actually.
Come on.
My blue.
He's building a whole, and now I heard he's getting into like more vegetable production. He's building a whole ecosystem in his garage. So if you haven't seen him, I'm sure your listeners have seen him. Love that guy. So those have been some really good episodes. But Steve, I'm trying to break things down and simplify. That's where my life is at right now. You know, I'm always trying to learn more and expand my mind. But for my garden, I'm thinking about how can I incorporate this into my life? One thing I've really been working on, Steve, is what's the easiest, least time consuming, most life friendly cultivation method? And so we put that into our beginner's guide, growcast.com/guide. It's free. Share it with anybody. And Steve, I can't argue over what's the best method of growing aquaponics because it produces meat. But like, we could argue about that all day. I'm not entering that debate. I think we could figure out the easiest way to grow. And I think we should tell new growers to grow that easiest way and branch out from there, pardon the pun.
Oh, for sure.
I've been really into sips lately. That's been my shit. I've been into sub-irrigated planters. And I think it's the easiest way to grow. And I'm trying to figure out a recipe that just knocks out all of the not nonsense, all of the unnecessary parts, and just distill it down to the least amount of parts that I can.
You definitely want labs for or some equivalent thereof for sips, just to prevent any root rot or any other
Down in the
fungus.
res, you mean, in that
res,
setting?
yeah.
So
And
I
then an
love
air
labs
stone
for
as
that.
well.
I love labs for that, Steve. Photosynthesis
EM1.
Plus. You familiar with Photo Plus?
Yeah, it's aquarium safe. I'm very familiar with that.
Dude, so they never talk about how it has that same quality. It keeps stagnant water. Steve, I'm so bad explaining this shit. It keeps stagnant anaerobic water from getting too funky, right? That's why you add those labs. Photo Plus does the same thing, and they never talk about it. I wrote Brett, the owner and maker, and I was like, dude, is this true? Because someone in my community was using it that way. And he goes, yeah. And I told him, you should talk about that, bro. So you're right. Labs and Photo Plus are my top 2 recs, Steve, for keeping that clean down there. There's lots of stuff you could use, right? SLF, high clean. But it's so funny you mentioned labs and Photo Plus are my top 2 picks for down the tube.
Yeah, EM1's another good option, and people can get off the shelf.
Hell yeah, EM1. And I have noticed that you're absolutely right. You got to keep that thing clean. That's probably one of the few things you need to make sure you do so you don't shoot yourself in the foot. But damn, other than that, Steve, I mean, it's easy mode, and I love getting new growers going. If I could reach out to your audience and kind of challenge them to do one thing, in addition to diving deeper into the science and advancing your knowledge every single day, make sure that you reach out to a smoker and reach out to a smoker and turn them on to the magic of growing, because it's one of the best things you can do for a person, man. And sometimes when we do that and we start to talk about pH or protozoa and stuff, their eyes just kind of glaze over. It's a sad fact. Their eyes just kind of glaze over. So you got to get their foot in the door and get them a good harvest, and then we got them. It's like Dave Chappelle, gotcha, bitch. Because once you got a good harvest under your belt, now you're on the journey. Now you're watching Growing with Fishes every week, and you're growing your brain.
And Growcast.
And Growcast every so often, because we're getting strikes and stuff.
What about cultivars? Because I know we got some seeds coming from some projects that you were doing.
Can we talk Growcast Eco?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to. I love talking about strands, Steve Reisner. It's my favorite thing to do. I think if I have a gift, it's describing the wonderful flavors of these plants. And Rhizo Rich outdid himself, man. Rhizo Rich is our breeder over at Growcast Eco, and he's done several lines. He did a lot of peach work. I think our first kind of breakout strain was Peach Quake. That was the first one that kind of grew outside of our own community and kind of made a name for itself. So good. That was a Bloom Seed Co's peach pie male hit to a Max Stomper, and that made Peach Quake, and Rich really made a name for himself. Since then, he's done a couple other real bangers. But now, Steve, another one that's kind of got out of our circle is this pollination. And this is Key Lime Madness. That was the keeper cut that he hunted and reversed for a whole pollination. And Key Lime Madness is... You're going to love this lineup. Key Lime Madness is Purple Capers Key Lime Pie crossed to 808 JB's GMO BX4. So you got a GMO BX4 known as the doo-doo butt. That's what it's known as. It's heavy shit, heavy pooping, funk, earth, gas, doo-doo butt cut. Hit to Purple. Shout out to Purple Caper. Shout out to both those guys, but especially shout out to Purple Caper. Is such a good guy, dude. And he's been breeding up in the Humboldt area for so long. And his key lime pie is so fire. Cream, lime zest, lime rind, real juicy lime fruit, right? And so those smashed together and they made Key Lime Madness. And Rich bred this strain years ago. And it kind of just got slept on. And then now he hunted a keeper cut. And I'm growing the Key Lime Madness, and I'm growing the Sour Limes, which is Key Lime Madness crossed to LA Kush. Farmer John cut. Shout out to Farmer John. If you know, you know. And man, when I'm smelling these crosses, Steve, I had the luxury to grow out probably 6 of these Key Lime Madness crosses. And I'm getting everything from lime rind to lime soda, a lot of lime soda that I don't know where that soda came from. A lot of OG-like earthy gas sweet combos. Some people are reporting like funky nastiness, but most of mine are really appealing, really zesty lime rind, and I'm loving it, man. Fair warning, no daytime smokes, okay? No daytime smokes. I was hooking producer Jay up with some, and he got on the show, and he's like, I've been trying these every day. Like, let's see if this one's okay for the morning. Just knockout, straight up KO every time. So I would not recommend this for the daytimers, but if you want a tolerance breaker, if you like limes, if you're a fan of GMO, definitely check out our Key Lime Madness pollination. It's at growcast.com, and God, some of the pictures, if you pull them up on my Instagram, there's a few from the Grand Pheno hunt that we do. And they're one of the rare ones that really checks all the boxes. You see how good it looks, and you really expect something to wow you, and it does. It really does. So, yeah, shout out to all the hunters who are hunting the Key Lime Madness. Someone's about to win $1,000 cash, which is really cool. We're in the top 3. The Pheno hunt is fun. So, what was the question? I'm sorry.
Oh, just what were some of the more interesting ones that you had right now, or the ones that you were excited about? That's all.
Key Lime Madness is the pollination. And the other one I'll shout out is Leche Lima. Now, that same Key Lime Madness pollen reversal got hit to a purple milk. Have you run into purple milk yet, Steve?
I haven't.
Wow. If you do, grab it. This is another Farmer John cut. So if he ever drops this cut, if you guys ever see Farmer John drop this cut, grab it. It was one of those ones that the purple milk was like a flavor 11 out of 10. It probably could have had more effect on it. But it was one of those ones that tasted so good you could not put it down. It was extremely, I would describe it as, not only was it creamy, yes, it was purple milk. It lived up to its name. It had that cream. I believe that's a flavonoid that they attribute to that to, Steve, that creamy mouthfeel. And I'd ask someone like you that question. But it also had this like velvety, it had a velvet tongue coating, just soft, lavender milk cream velvet, and it was purple milk, man. It was purple milk. So anyways, Rich got that cut, and he hit the Key Lime Madness to it, and that made Leche Lima. Shout out to Wisco gas station for sending me his Leche Lima cut. Wow, fucking chef's kiss. Smells like an F1 race car did a burnout, but instead of tires it had donuts. That's my description.
Nice.
Uh,
Yeah, no, Peach Quake is on definitely on the list of stuff I had queued up for this next pop.
yes, bro. Some good washers in that. I'm not sure the lime stuff would wash or not. Someone said they washed their sour limes, which is this one I'm smoking right now, and they said it did great. They said it was like 4.9% mixed wash. Crazy. That's amazing in my opinion. Mixed pheno wash. But when I'm the stuff that I just grew, all these key lime washers, bro, it's so greasy. You ever have that bud that feels like you have essential oils on your finger after? It's so greasy that, oh, I love it, Steve. I love that type of wheat.
And you can, if you drop your humidity a little bit, and especially the last 2-3 weeks, you can help wax them up a bit. Same thing with like boosting your boron up a little bit more also helps increase that wax production a little bit more for the cuticle.
Dude,
If you're specifically chasing washing.
I don't know if I am though. I love the way that it feels and smells and smokes in flower. But that is great advice. The boron for cuticle strength makes sense.
Yeah, especially if you have like high heat, a little bit of extra boron helps put a little bit more coating on the leaves so they don't lose moisture quite so fast. I've noticed, especially like in the tropics in the dry season, it to make a difference.
So we're going to do another run. We're stuck on this key lime. We're going to do another run of seeds using Key Lime Madness. We're also going to do another run of seeds using LA Kush itself. We've reversed that LA Kush. It's just such a good classic. It's a great washer. It's incredibly potent and not put you to sleep. My eyelids are heavy potent like the Key Lime Madness is, but more like, holy crap, my IQ just dropped 90 points, like stupefied. To quote the great Disturbed, I got stupefied, Steve. and the LA Kush does that. It is a neurological relaxant. It's absolutely stupefying and tolerance buster. So stay tuned for those. Those will be out, I don't know, in the next 8 weeks. Those will drop.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. We're working on some doing some open pollinations with some of the landrace that I have. I have some really weird stuff. I want to do the African stuff and some of the other interesting things I've found along the way. So I'm working on that and got the initial beds all set up and everything over the week to start popping the first round of pheno hunt for the year. So working on that. Gonna be setting up a space to start flowering all those, to start sifting through that, and then we'll have our first bay up for production, and then start having clones available at some point this
Cool,
year.
dude. You going heavy on clones?
Yeah, we have a whole nursery license in the nursery. We're renovating the building right now. We're currently putting a new roof on it, and then once that's fixed, then we can get in and start. I tore out a bunch of the electrical, so I got to fix that first. But it won't take too long once we get going.
That's great, man. Keep me up to date on that. I love to see it, and I would love to get our clones in that hunt, get our seeds in that hunt, get our clones in that nursery. We love seeing it in the market. I mean, even in the legal market, you know, like we poke fun, and a lot of my members and like kind of chapter captains poke fun at MSOs and stuff. But I absolutely tickled, Steve, when I see that the local Illinois dispensaries carrying double stuffed Oreos. And I'm like, where did they get that? Like, whose double stuffed is that? I almost want to go buy it just to see if it's the cut that I think it is. And it's great. I love it. I don't care if it's grown by an MSO. I just love to see more plants growing. You know, I mean, fuck them for trying to eliminate home grow rights. Don't get me wrong, but I still get tickled when I see a dispensary with our strains. That's all. With our strands.
Yeah. They changed all the laws here in California this year. It makes it a lot easier. So like you can transfer clones easily between your properties. So if you have a cultivation site or whatever, you can clone up there and then transfer to your nursery site and vice versa. And made the laws much less pain in the ass paperwork wise. So we're excited about that. And it's allowing us to get things going a little easier this year.
I love that, dude.
There's some other new changes of the California law this year. We have what's it called? You don't have to file well, they gotta approve it, but it looks like it's gonna go through. You won't have to do the electrical layouts anymore. So you used to have to kind of list off all of your electrical plans for the whole place as far as how much voltage you're pulling and and you won't have to do that anymore, which is nice as well.
Well,
Make things
hopefully
a
they
little
start
easier.
fixing the shit. And yeah, they need to open up just movement of the plant, movement of the product. That's what bothers me the most.
Well, they gotta stop playing with the pesticide stuff and just let people use the organic biocontrols. It's my biggest complaint. And
Yeah.
I went and actually like mentioned it to the water board because they did an event up here in NorCal not too long ago. And I was there and I was like, hey, like, why do you not allow these biopesticides that are allowed in every other state? They're allowed for organic vegetable production. Well, what's the problem? Like, you want people to stop using these harsh chemicals. It's going to be a problem for the river. Okay, but then approve the ones that do work that are
Yeah.
safe and biological and aren't going to destroy anything. So it's ridiculous.
Well, and
Yeah,
that's the thing that bothers me. And going back to the Columbia farms, like they act like it can't be done or something a lot of the time.
yeah.
And again, they're selling those beans for a lot slimmer margin than anything we're doing up here. Steve, they didn't use any chemical pesticides. They used biologicals. They used the shit out of biologicals. Heavy, I assume, heavy pest pressure in Colombia. But more than that, it's coffee rust that they were fighting. Coffee rust is the borer beetle is really bad as far as insect pressure, but coffee rust is what they were fighting. And man, were they using biologicals, but no harmful chemical pesticides, just a lot of biologicals.
Interesting. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if IPMO would work for the beetles.
Yeah,
It seems to work pretty well for some of those.
once you taught me about IPMO, I was like kicking myself for not knowing that when I went down there. Steve, I'm due to go back there in summer. So I'll keep you up to date. You should
Yeah,
come with, man.
I
We'll
should.
see. You should,
That
bro.
would be fun.
That
We'll
would be
see.
sweet.
It's gonna be a busy year growing up here, so I gotta see if I can get away.
It's wild down there, man. It's super wild,
Yeah.
and I loved it. I loved every minute of it. So
Awesome. Any other guests or cool things you got coming up on your show? I know you got an event or something coming up here later in the year.
Colt Cup, May 2nd, Rockford, Illinois. This is going to be a really cool event, man. I'm working really hard on the event itself. Last year, we went to a huge, awesome venue, and the event was a lot of work behind the scenes to just keep up with everything. And this year, we're going back to a venue we've done before. It's smaller, it's simpler, and that way I'm going to be able to focus on more to do at the event. So check it out, growcast.com/events. It's May 2nd. It's in Rockford, Illinois. It's actually Loves Park, Illinois. It's basically Rockford. It's so worth the trip out. If you want to come and compete with the best in the Midwest, or if you just want to come and hang, the ticket's cheap. Comes with free food, free dabs, free everything, and then a bunch of extra goodies too, like food trucks and vendors. And come on by. Steve, I want to get you out. Did I talk to you about this? I want to get you out for a cup, man. Like, we should try to get you out for this.
I would love to, yeah.
We should figure that out, man, because I can, kick in for the travel and see if we can make that happen. It's May 2nd. A lot of your friends are going to be there. Rust is going to be there. Terp Wizard is going to be there. Chi-Town Canada is going to be there. Flower Farm's going to be there. Red Scare Seed Co. is going to stop by. Rizo Rich is going to be. It's going to be a blast, man. So yeah, May 2nd, Colt Cup, and we'll be serving coffee. Good. We'll be serving coffee all night.
Hell yeah! Might even have some other goodies if I end up there. I bring some surprises.
Oh God, what does that mean?
I don't know if anyone was at the Dude Grows Cup when I brought the tray of what was it, the Rice Krispies treats at the Dude Grows Cup in Oregon. That was a really good time.
Oh man, if you handed me a Rice Krispie treat, you might be one of the people I'd be most apprehensive to eat a Rice Krispie treat from. What is in this, dude?
I had
mushrooms or something.
I had just moved into this place, and this lady I was renting half her house from. And I was like, hey, I need to make edibles for this event. Like, do you care if I stink the house up? Like, I'm just letting you know in case you have guests coming. Like, I can wait a day. And she goes, no, that's fine. And I come home and I'm decarbing I don't know, 2 or 3 pounds of pretty good trim, sugar trim to make the edibles. And She freaked out because she's used to buying eighths or whatever. So she thought that was a large amount. She was like, oh, yeah. And then I had a big giant bag that I had the rest of it in, and I was trying to tie it up while she's yelling at me so she doesn't see the rest of the other fucking 6 pounds in the bag.
Yeah, totally, exactly.
It was fucking funny. Anyways, I ended up having to move out when I got back after that because she just could not handle the amount of weed that I had at the time.
Anyways, I moved out, and the rest is history.
Well, I told her, I was like, my whole world revolves around weed. So if that's a problem, just tell me now, and this isn't gonna work. She's like, no, it's fine. Anyways, it was just funny. I'll never forget that.
You don't get it how into it I am. I'm potent Ponics lady.
And I remember I brought some other stuff to one of the other ones, and one of our investors, the company I was with at the time, he got so high off of the taking one of the powdered sublinguals and then doing a dab. He was dancing like the floppy car salesman,
wacky waving,
raggedy arm man thing. Yeah, that shit was great. I ended up putting him on an Uber, send him back to his hotel.
That's exactly how I feel after a good dose of that THC powder, dude.
But yeah, no, it's good. It the powder comes on quick and it wears off, before an hour and a half, 2 hours, so you're not stuck high, which is nice.
Lasts about the same time as the caffeine when you drink it in coffee. I noticed it comes up about as fast and it lasts about as fast. I think there's real synergy going on. If you just understand how these two things interact in your body, it's really fascinating. What cannabis and what coffee both do to your adenosine, and which is the fatigue molecule. Have I told you about that, Steve? Would you like me to share that?
Yeah, that'd be great.
This is really cool. Adenosine is the fatigue molecule that your body produces to tell you that it's time to be tired, but it's also the recovery molecule. So you wake up and you go to work and you're working around, and the adenosine starts to build up in your body and in your bloodstream, and then it attaches to your adenosine receptors. And once that attachment occurs, that's when you start to feel tired and your body goes into recovery mode. It's also when you begin to recover. When you take coffee, specifically caffeine, what ends up happening is the caffeine blocks the adenosine from sticking to the receptors. It doesn't stop the production of adenosine. The adenosine is now just kind of free floating and building up, which is why when the caffeine wears off, bam, you get that crash. All of the adenosine at once rushes to the receptors, especially when you're drinking low quality coffee, and you get this huge afternoon crash, and you have to go to bed, right? The better quality of coffee you have, and I believe it has to do with the chelating acids, because well-farmed organic coffee is higher in chlorogenic acids and those types of acids, which is what we're literally trying to do. That's why it has less crash, in my opinion, or because of those organic acids, and that's why lower quality coffee, one of the reasons, has more of a crash. It has to do with this adenosine. Well, what does cannabis do? Specifically CBD. What CBD does is it slows the adenosine clearance transport mechanism. So on the back end of that receptor, there is a cart that takes the adenosine, loads it up, and then disposes of it, right? And as it disposes of all that adenosine, your fatigue wears off. So when you're in recovery mode and you're sleeping, or when you're in recovery mode, you're stoned, or you've taken CBD, your body slows down that clearance mechanism to let that adenosine hang around a little bit and keep you in recovery mode, by the way. The only reason that you're popping up is because of millions of years of evolution and survival. A lot of the times you need more rest, and that's why we take these things, and that's why we sleep 10 hours after taking a good dose of CBD, and that's why you're groggy in the morning, and it feels like you're kind of still asleep or still waking up. The key, amongst other things, the main key is adenosine, and that adenosine clearance transport. So what this really means is that coffee and caffeine for performance, and then CBD and flower for recovery. And when you take them together, it gets really interesting, because the adenosine doesn't attach as effectively, but when it does, it stays there longer. So you have this like really nice, even keeled balance. And that's a lot with what we're dealing with here. And Steve, that's why we're going to work on the formulation and change the infusion to something more full spectrum one day. See, I'm already teasing. I said I wasn't going to tease, and now I'm already teasing. But that has to do with that, man. And it's all around the adenosine receptors and that clearance transport mechanism. So you really want to take both, man. You really want to be taking both of these plant medicines, together or separate.
Everyone loves a joint and coffee in the morning, you know? Or a
That's
blunt
why.
and coffee.
That's why it makes you feel even keeled. It doesn't make you feel too tired, too stressed, too relaxed, too up. It makes you even keeled, and that's because it regulates that adenosine dance. And so next time you're feeling tired from from a late night and high dosage of cannabis, or next time you're feeling wired from coffee, think of the adenosine transport mechanism and the adenosine receptors, and you'll understand exactly what I'm saying.
Next, we're going to make the cannabis version of Four Loko. That's kidding.
Let's crank it up.
I am a big fan, and I have no idea if you can even legally sell it, but
Yeah.
and I actually I've made some since I come out here, because you could find the plants out here. But have you ever had like proper Mormon tea, like with the
Mormon
the
tea?
ephedrine plant?
I've had
Ephedra
Mormon
plant?
beer, which is like soda, right?
Yeah.
Or it's like weak beer. What's Mormon tea?
Yeah. So you make it with like a ephedra plant. It looks like a euphorbia almost, or like horsetail kind of. It's like a bush though.
Huh.
It grows in the desert in the drier areas, but people have transplanted it up here in NorCal.
Is
I
the
know
ephedra the
cool
weight
plants.
loss plant? Is that the same plant?
Well, it used to be what Stacker and Stacker 2 are made from back in the day. But you can, I know you can buy it dried in herb stores, and then make tea from it. But I mix that out here. I'll mix that with like some buckwheat and sometimes some manzanita berries or manzanita leaves, depending on the species of and that's like really, really good. That a little sugar, a little honey, it shit's fire. But you can just do the straight, just regular tea with a couple of sprigs of the ephedra plant in it. It really wakes you up, and it gives you a kick.
It really gets you going. Steve, I mean, when you take a look at the plants that are farmed properly, it is exactly the same, man. The coffee and cannabis are exactly the same, because you know why coffee plants produce caffeine, right? Like the primary reason.
No, for insect repellent, right? For grasshoppers or something like that.
Bingo. Yeah, and everything. When bugs eat that caffeine, it fucks them up big time, dude. It's not okay for their little bodies. And it turns out if the plant is producing something for a defense mechanism, trichomes are the same. You grow it in a healthy environment, in a microbe-enriched environment, all those things. Well, those numbers, those phytochemicals go up, right? Caffeine's the same way, Steve. The regenerative coffee that we're using is way higher in caffeine than your average diner coffee. The plant is just better at producing it. Same way your plant is better at producing trichomes and cannabinoids when you take better care of it. It's funny how that works.
This is the plant I was talking about here. Like I said, it's like almost like a pine tree kind of
I feel
looking.
like I've driven past that plant 1,000 times probably, and I didn't
Oh
even
yeah,
know
there's
that it
quite
was.
a few different types in the West, or like
Yeah.
many different ones, or parts of the
That's
country that have it out in the western part of the U.S.
that's really cool, man. And I just
But
love
it's
the power of plants and mixing them together.
yeah, and it makes a great tea. And I used to make some when I lived out in Southern California. I used to make no sleep tea. And you take that and keep you awake for like 2 or 3 hours. It's good, but like you're like alert awake. It's good. I know if you like
Sure.
coffee,
That's what you call
it
it,
goes good
Steve.
with coffee.
Yeah, alert, awake. I want to make the opposite, Steve. I want to take the world's best decaffeinated coffee, organic, Swiss water processed, no chemicals. Get that organic coffee, add a little bit of CBD, a little bit of CBN, and have a sleepy time coffee. Let me know if anybody would be interested in that because I'm interested in sleepy time, nighttime coffee.
Nighttime coffee. All
Oh,
right.
yeah. We're crazy, dude. Steve, coffee drinkers, I told you, we're crazier than smokers. I'm telling you.
How do they make coffee decaffeinated?
You know, it's funny you say that. It's a process that is also a certification, and it's called Swiss water processing. Apparently originated in Switzerland, apparently uses water. I do not know the actual mechanism. I don't know if they soak it. I don't know if they pressurize it. I don't know what it is, but I do know that if it doesn't say Swiss water processed, they use chemicals to decaffeinate it. The chemicals are nasty, and there's been tests that show that not all the chemicals make it out after roasting. So always get Swiss water processed. If you ever taste decaf and it tastes terrible, it shouldn't. You know what I mean? So look for Swiss water processed.
Right. Good to know. So I had no idea.
Yep.
Well, I know you have another event that you have to attend to here before too long, but
Dude, thanks for having me on. I hope everybody enjoyed me yelling and screaming about coffee for an hour. You can find
someone in chat
growcast.com as
someone
well.
in chat said you reminded them of the Sham Wow guy, but like for weed coffee.
Okay, well, I hope that's a compliment. And
No, it's good. What's that guy's name? Vince. What's his last name? Vince something. He's been like in the movies and stuff or TV shows now. Like
it
he
makes
like
you up, it makes you
after the
down, it makes you
arrest,
go
he
every
got it
which
all.
way.
Yeah, after his arrest, he got it. You know who else is Tom Odell? Remember him? The was fucking great. The knife guy, the late night knife guy. Oh,
The
there's
guy who was
something
like,
cutlery.
yeah, he would like bang the shit out of the knife. And
Yeah,
then
he
cut a
would like
tomato.
fuck the setup
Yeah,
and
he'd
break
fuck
shit.
it
And
up.
like
Yeah,
the one
totally.
guy, the sword broke and it like spun back and like stabbed him in the chest. It was the show was great. I remember watching it like getting snowed in or staying up late one night or getting up, couldn't sleep and turning it on and watching that guy because he was so entertaining.
Man, Steve, we got to hang out. On that note, we got to hang out sometime,
Anyways,
man,
yeah,
and watch some infomercials of people getting stabbed with samurai swords and smoke together. That sounds like a good time, Mystery Science Theater style.
How do by the way, Mystery Science Theater has a 24-hour YouTube channel now. You can watch them 24 hours a day, which is great.
I've been all
Uh,
over that shit, Steve. I've been
Hell yeah. There's a
balls
Godzilla
deep
one
in
too
that.
now, which is great. Um
Time for
how do
Gochu
people
Bang
find
is one of the streams. Find me at growcast.com. There you can find everything that you probably want to hear about, which is cultivation. And then you can also find farmerjoescoffee.com. Sales are about to go live. That's Farmer JOS. So excited about this, guys. Thank you for letting me yell at you about coffee. And stay tuned for more. Share our grow guide, please, guys. If you want to talk about first time growing, send them to growcast.com/guide. Just send it over. I'm so confident in this first time growers guide. I think you'll love it. And yeah, stay tuned, everybody. At Growcast on Instagram is where you can follow me. Find me there sometimes. A little Bokashi bloom going off there. And Growcast.com for all your other Growcast needs. Thank you for having me, Steve. Man, I just like kicking it with you. So
Yeah, I appreciate it.
we'll have you back on the show sometime real soon, man.
Yeah. And thanks everybody for watching. We'll be back again next week. I have a bunch of lined up recordings and stuff to do with people in the next couple of weeks. So I'm hopefully still be able to do episode every Thursday, but we're starting grow season basically next week. So there might be a day or two here and there where we miss one, but we're trying to get back to a normal flow with the show and doing regular weekly shows. And I'm trying to do like a recorded piece for the early part of the week as well. So look for 2 or 3 videos a week here once we get going. So, all right. Thanks everybody. We'll catch you guys again soon. You can find me at Growing with Fishes podcast on all the things. Pretty much on every platform at this point. So you can find us wherever. Thanks for listening. And yeah, like Jordan was saying, check it out. We'll have a lot more info once we get everything off the ground here in the next couple days. So be on the lookout for that on Instagram and everything else. All right. Cheers, guys. Have a good one.